Hi traders, this is Chris from Elite Currency with a new update and video on the euro dollar and of course pound dollar. So far this week euro dollar has really gone nowhere. There is a lot of news events this week, so that could be maybe one of the reasons. Perhaps the second reason is this 144 EMA. We mentioned already a couple of times that it's very difficult for price to move away from a long to moving average as the 144 EMA at least. In our experience, because it gets kind of stuck to it, it gets attracted to it, so it goes back and forth around it. It's difficult to move away from it. But if it does, there could be, of course, a new trend going on. When is that moment where we could expect a continuation higher? For that, we use the Wiz tool, and we can indicate by the third Wiz level break, that's when we can expect price to accelerate away. So for the upside euro dollar is 117.30 is key, because then we could expect finally a continuation up to 118 and then maybe 120, which is where Wiz level 4 and 5 are located. So for the euro dollar to get momentum, we need to see price break above the previous top, really. This is all kind of consolidation territory. And whether we get a break or not, we'll have to see. We got a push above the 21 EMA recently, end of yesterday, and this is the second or third attempt. So I think that there's a decent chance that price might bounce in the 21 EMA zone, right? The 21 EMA is pretty much bullish at this moment, but its position versus the 144 EMA is right on top of it, and that's not that great. So I'm leaning towards a bullish continuation, but it is a difficult spot. Still remains a difficult spot. So if it does break below the 21 EMA, there could be a bigger correction on the euro dollar, and we might get a push down to the S1, for instance, at around 115. This could be a bigger correction like this. This could be one swing. This could be the second swing, and we can get a third swing like to the S1 or S2, which in turn are support zones where price might bounce again back to the upside, by the way, because ultimately this is looking like a strong wave, a strong push or swing, if you don't like waves, and this is a first kind of corrective like swing, this is a second, and this is a third. So ultimately this particular pattern still looks bullish, right? For those that like the Fibonacci patterns, I think that this is one of them. So now if we put a fib from here to here, you can look for targets, right? If you like those Fibonacci patterns, for the -272 target, for instance, or you can also put a fib on this swing, right, and look for a 50 fib or 61.8 fib bounce. Those are support levels to think about. All right, now how about the upside? I think the 21 EMA zone could also still be a bouncing spot. So if we zoom in, right, we'll have to see how if price goes into the zone, but it stays above 115.94, it bounces and you get a fractal here, then I would say there's an increased chance of an upside, right? Also, if you get a good candle close that can break above 116.50, there are a lot of fractals here, green diamond fractals, by the way, that's our own indicator that indicates an uptrend at this moment. So if we get a good 4-hour candle that breaks above that zone, that too, again, helps the odds of an upside. So 115.94, I think, plus the trend line, pretty important if price stays above that. And do we get a break above this zone? And importantly, more importantly even later on, is do we get a break above this zone? Okay, so, but if we get a bearish breakout, then, you know, around this area, and I think we'll get a bounce again. Otherwise, I don't think I have much to say. Daily chart is looking a little bit more bullish. We got bullish candles in a row, but price is in the 21 EMA zone. So basically, it has to break with the candle close above it. So if we get today or tomorrow or Monday a daily candle close above that 21 EMA, that could indicate an upside break, and there could be a continuation higher to those targets I already mentioned. All right. Otherwise, on the hourly chart, I don't think there's much to add. So let's take a look at the pound dollar right now. Pound is moving higher, but it's pretty choppy. Let's see, the week started off, let's see, 710 here. So basically, pretty sideways after the initial move up. And it is bullishly aligned. It has fractals in the 21 EMA zone. Okay, and price is above the 21 EMA. And we are having higher highs and higher lows. We're clearly having a uptrend channel even, like this. Although one could argue that the angle is weakening, making it a little bit like a rising wedge. So if it does break below the 21 EMA, I would wait for a break, flag pattern in a lower time frame, and then there could be a continuation. I wouldn't trade the breakout here in this case, due to the fact that the fractals are in the 21 EMA, and I think that a break of the 21 EMA is not that important as yet, because it could just be a small break like here, and price still continues with the uptrend. So be careful of that. It's a tricky situation too. I am leaning towards bullishness and continuation, and I think that there's a decent chance that price might make it up to the minus 272 target at 131.50, if not all the way up to the minus 61.8 target at around 132.50 and 133. All right, that seems a lot less likely at the moment. But if price does break here, flag, then yes, there could be a space down to S1, and if it breaks that, maybe even S2, and if it breaks that, a full-fledged downtrend continuation. In that case, this was the correction. 3 legs, 1, 2, 3, correction is over, and downtrend starts again. That's why we cannot neglect necessarily the bearish break here because of that scenario. That said, I wouldn't trade the first break. I would wait for a pattern and then the next break personally. Otherwise, I think it's too risky. At this point, I think it's leaning towards a bullish bounce though. All in all, it's still a decent channel, and I think we're having maybe just a pullback, and I think there's a decent chance that price might bounce. But let's see if it bounces in this zone or not. Anything, I think, above 130 round level, it would make sense and would probably be a good continuation. If it breaks below 130, it's becoming a little bit less strong, but there we go. And let's take a look at the Wiz levels. Here, another factor why upside is looking a little bit better. It did break above the third Wiz level, and it has space to the fourth, right? And if it breaks that up to the fifth, right? So therefore, I'm leaning towards a continuation higher. But yeah, 130 and also this right here around 129.80, 129.75, pretty important support levels, because if those don't hold, then it's not looking that good anymore. On the daily chart, we're seeing daily candles still bullish and still above the 21 EMA with HMA up. ECS MACD pretty thick blue, so still space up to the 144 EMA. So I think that all in all, the probability, and this is always probability in trading, of course, is to the upside. So let's see if that indeed happens in today or tomorrow or Monday or beginning of next week. All right, that's about it for now. Check out our website for a lot of free material. We gladly and freely share a lot of materials and give a lot of advice and tips in that. Check out our blog and research part, where you can look at the most newest recent updates for that. We also have, of course, multiple analysis updates per day as well, so you can check that out on our website. Wish you all good trading and talk to you soon. Cheers.